So, on previous class, we basically discussed about the who are the tribe, basically tribes, what are the classifications amongst the tribe, and then the issues, right? For integration or issues or challenges in front of the leaders after independence, right? So just recapitulate once more and then we go to the next portion. So who are tribes? Basically the tribes are basically homogeneous in nature. First and foremost, homogeneous, they are homogeneous in nature first. Then second one is basically they are geographically isolated. So they are what? They are geographically isolated, right? So first and foremost, they are homogeneous in nature. Then second one is geographically isolated. The next one is basically they are shyness of contact, right? Means they are culturally distinct. That's why they are shyness, right? They enjoys the isolation actually. So and if we see the ratio basically, or the what are the percentage the 86% of the total population, and they are 75 pvtgs, right? Means particularly vulnerable tribal groups, basically particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Now the classification, if we see the various classifications, the elite, middle and sharecroppers, right? Now so elites are basically who British provided the ownership of land and forest, right? There are few among tribes whose the Britishers basically provided the ownership of land and forest. Now the middle class basically with the secular educations, right? And who are known for the English language, and so that's why the job opportunities are there. Now the sharecroppers, the labor tenant, due to the discriminations, penetrations of the outsiders, right? That's due to the penetrations of outsiders, the discrimination happens. So that's why they are hunger for land by the peasants from the tribals, right? Now if we see the broader classifications, the elites, right, first and foremost means ownership of lands, middle class basically the secular educations, then English language, so that's why the job opportunities are there, and then there are sharecroppers, right, for the penetrations of the for outsiders, that's why discrimination happen. Now that the Deaver Commission was basically stabilized to review the tribals groups actually. Now according to the Deaver Commission, 75 and the PVTGs are basically who had pre-agricultural technologies, right? First, then low literacy level or rate, and backward in terms of the economical as well as social and educational backwardness, right? So this is the broad classifications, and according to the Deaver Commission, this all happened. Now the issues in pre-British era. See, in pre-British era, if you see that the tribals are basically living isolated, right? Now so what happened, they live isolation or they enjoy isolations in hilly areas or deep forest areas, right? Now the during the British rule, the penetrations of the market forces, like sharecroppers, then the middlemen, peasants, etc. So that's why due to the penetrations of the outsiders, what happened, and their isolation is disrupted. So disrupted of isolation, and examples Dikus in the Santhal uprising. When you see the Santhal uprising, in that the outsiders call as Dikus. Now losses of rights over land and the forest resources, right? Now In the post-independence era, the challenges in front of our leaders, first and foremost, the policy of isolation. According to the Virer Elvin, the policy of isolation is basically what? Nothing. And according to Virer Elvin, say that leave the tribes in their on their uncontaminated, right, by the mainstream influence. But isolation is not the conditions. Actually, it's not a right approach for the tribes to overcome the backwardness, then low literacy level and pre-agricultural technology, right? So if isolation is not, then the GS Khure provide the second solution, the another solution. What? The policy of nothing, the policy of assimilation. But again, according to our first prime minister, this is also not the right approach. Why? Because of due to the assimilation. See, in assimilations, what GS Khure said that the tribes are nothings. Tribes are nothings. They are backward Hindus. So, to overcome all of those things, the assimilations, these three, the Deaver Commission reports, these three. So, what? The backwardness, so the tribe are nothing, they are backward Hindus. So that's why the assimilation is not a right approach, because our first prime ministers think that the assimilation leads to loss the social and cultural identity of tribes now next, the policy of integration. The last one policy which is adopted by the government of India on that time, the policy of integration. For that's why the tribal pencil was introduced. That in the tribal pencil, basically, what? See, in the pencil, basically, there is the promotion of tribal language first and foremost. Give the effect, right? So, for that identity, the policy of integrations adapt remain their social and cultural identity. So that's why the policy of integration happen. But the integration happen or developments happen in their own way, means they have remained their cultural and the social identity. Then tribal rights land and forest resources are now they need to respect their lands and forest resources. Now त्याचे apart from that no over administrations are there, so tribal areas basically less outside interrupt or involvement or penetrations happen. Now the tribal assistance would be sict managing polity and economy, and tribal language should be promoted, right? So this is the basically a quick revisions of our previous classes. Now today we discuss basically the issues related with the tribes, and what are the government's effort, apart from that lacunas and way forward. Now now if we see lecture number 6. Okay, so what happened? First and foremost things is basically government efforts. We see. First we see the issues and then issues. Now in issues basically, first and foremost there are various issues. First, yeah, the radical transformations formation of tribals as their isolation was ended due to, what is the reasons? Due to the penetration of outsiders. Happen, right? Now outsider means, who are the outsiders? The peasants, sharecroppers, then market forces, etc., right? Now apart from that, see the penetrations of the market forces, right? The market forces are basically same money money lenders. Then apart from that, the revenue farmers, then the middlemen, peasants, then traders, etc. These all market forces, they all are the market forces. Outsiders, which implies outsiders who invaded the tribal areas and disrupt their traditional life. So First and foremost, the radical transformations of the tribes happened, and their isolation was ended due to the penetration of the market forces. Now, or outsiders, say, and so the money launderers, then the revenue farmer, then the middlemen, peasants, and the traders. These all are at the, and etc. 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 It is in. They all are the market forces. Say, they are invaded. They invaded the tribal areas. They invaded the tribal areas and disrupt their isolation or traditional life. Traditional life means what? Isolation. Isolation in hilly areas and deep forest, right? Then apart from that, they are engulfed, so due to this they have no rights of the land right now. So due to and agriculture the forest goods are the main thing. So what happened, they engulfed engulfed they engulfed in debt and lost land to outsiders, right? They engulfed in debt and lost their land to outsiders. Means here forest, right? Forest, right? Right. Right now, in front of the outsiders. Now, that there were decrease to status to the labor, shopkeeper, and tenants. Then the the role of Christian missionary. The role of Christian missionary destroy their indigenous culture. Okay, then apart from that, due to the proselytization happened, due to the process happen. I think please cross check the spelling and then okay. Now apart from that, the colonialism also affected. So the colonialism also alter the tribal relation with whom, with the forest, right? Then apart from that, the conserve forest and the facilitate their commercial exploitations. The conservation of forest and the conservation of forest and facilitate their forest goods or forest exploitations, we can say commercial exploitation of the forest, commercial exploitation of the forest. Due to this, what happened? Due to this, forest happened, right, under the forest laws. This is happened under forest laws. Several restrictions and was imposed to the tribals and etc. Then, apart from that, all of these the result into several uprising, like coal uprising, Munda uprising, Santhal uprising, etc. happened. Right? Now, apart from that, in the post independence, the biggest challenge was the consolidation of tribals in the Union of India. Right? So, these are some common issues related with the tribes. So, if we just recapitulate the common issues, so the radical the transformations of the tribal, as their isolation was ended due to the penetrations of the outsiders. Then what happened? The money launderers, the revenue farmer, the middlemen, the peasants, and the traders. They are the market forces, and they invaded the tribal areas and disrupt their traditional life. Isolations in hilly areas, traditional life means isolations, and they are enjoyed the isolation in the hilly areas of the deep forest. Now, apart from that, they engulfed in debt and lost their forest right to the outsiders. Then, apart from that, their status was basically reduced, and the status came into the labor, shopkeepers, tenants. Then the role of Christian missionary was important to destroy their indigenous culture. Right now, cultural identity, proselytization happened. Apart from that, colonialism also altered their traditional relations with the forest. Obviously, there are various laws, and apart from that, the penetrations of the outsiders, then the forest rights was not there. So these all are the issues right now. Then the conservations of the forest and facilitated their commercial exploitation of the forest under the forest law. There are various forest laws which basically imposed in the time of the during the time of the British rule, right now, in the colonialism time. In those laws, actually, to the forest or the tribals, due to the conservations or the in name of the conservation, so-called conservation of the forest, and what happened, the rights of tribals was engulfed, and the Britishers, actually, they used the forest goods in terms of the commercial purpose. Right now, So apart from that, all of those result into several uprising, like coal uprising, Munda uprising, Santhal uprising, etc. Then the post independence, the biggest challenge was what, the consolidations of the tribal into the union of India, or the India Union, right now. Then these are the common, but there are some more issues. See the if we see the India, the main portion or the major tribes are basically live the northeastern portion, right, and the some central portion, right now. So what happened? See, but the other Deccan areas. So major is North India, approx 70% or above, right now. So what happened? There are some specific issues which are related to the northeastern states. So the issues are related with northeastern states. So the issues of tribals in the northeastern state, if we see that, the northeastern states in the northeastern, if we see northeastern, in the northeastern states, they are first and foremost culturally and cultural and ethnic, ethnic. In the northeastern states, the cultural and the ethnic diversity, there are various tribes are there right now. Diversity is there, which basically leads to change demographic demography, right? Then there are various geographical factors, like what are the geographical factors? The geographical factors, like first and foremost, if we told that, the connectivity, connectivity with the mainland India. So connectivity with the mainland, geographical factors like connectivity with the mainland India, example chicken neck corridor, it is also recent in a news, actually, the chicken neck corridor due to the international relations purpose, and apart from that, due to the mainland India and northeastern state connectivity purpose. Okay, then apart from that, they are 98% northeastern state share international border, right? Then apart from geographical factors, then the administrative factors, like lack of, first and foremost, lack of implementation of various central schemes or policies. Apart from that, the administration factors, they are, see, the northeastern tribes are basically culturally and ethnically they are distinct. Okay, they are distinct, but what happened, see, but the administrations basically treated as homogeneous under northeastern tag, right? Then apart from that, violation of what, APSPA, right now. Then apart from that, the high crime rate due to the golden triangle, right? Then apart from that, the misuses of the fund by various government sectors or employee. Then apart from that, the infrastructure was basically backward infrastructures. And then lack of implementation of the government policy we basically discuss. Okay, now apart from that, there are religious factors, means the proselytizations by the Christian missionary. And so that's why the Christian missionary basically stabilized of hospital, schools, etc. to aim to conversion or conversion, right now. Then apart from that, in northeastern states there are historical factors, or the various acts are basically like governed by the Bengal Frontier Acts, right now. So governed by Bengal Frontiers Act 1873. they are socially, economically, they are socially and economically, and they are basically backward. So that's a organized crime rate was basically high, socially and economically backward. So organized crime was hidden. And then special specifically in northeastern zone, the tribals community are, what majorities are basically, or major population are basically tribals. So these are basically some of the issues related with the tribals right now, which is also related with the northeastern, the additional, and that's the northeastern states. Then apart from these two, then the next one is basically, what the next one basically, the government, the various governments effort. The government efforts are basically the various government efforts. So apart from this, the government efforts, government efforts, efforts. First and foremost, the various constitutional provisions, government's effort we basically discuss. So first and foremost, we discuss the what a constitutional provision. Then another one is legal provision, and apart from that, the government scheme. So constitutional provisions, like first and foremost, if we see the definitions under the what, under article 366 and 342 definition. Then administration under article, not article, schedule 5th and 6th schedule. Then apart from definitions, administrations, the another one is basically cultural provisions, article 29, cultural provisions, article 29. Then the agency to monitoring agency stabilized under article 338A, article 338A. Then the political empowerment on basically, and the 332, then 243, 243D, 243T, etc, 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 right now. So these are basically the constitutional provisions. Apart from these, the legal provisions are basically what, first and foremost, PESA Act, then FRA, and apart from that, POA. Then government schemes like TRIFET, then apart from that, Vandhan Yojana, Apart from that, for the education purpose, Eklavya schools are there, Eklavya residential model schools. Then mechanism for the market marketing at MSP, right? These are the various government schemes are there. Then apart from these government schemes, we basically discuss about the lacunas. What are the lacunas, which is basically linked with the stripes? Lacunas, LACUNAE, lacuna. So the lacunas are basically, first and foremost, irrespective of government's effort, the tribal progress has been dismal. Irrespective irrespective of the government effort, the tribal progress has been dismal. Then apart from that, weak execution of the provision and policies. Then irrespective of state government in ineffective of state government in administration. See, there is various lacunas are there. We basically discuss it in the tomorrow lecture, and we just briefly recapitulate what basically the issues the related with the northeastern state and the government efforts. So lacunas and the way forward we basically discuss the in tomorrow's lecture. Okay, na? So if we see that the issues related with the tribals, basically same things, the radical transformations of tribal, first and foremost the radical transformations of the tribals. Then the isolation was ended due to the penetration of outsiders. Then apart from that, money launderers, revenue farmers, middlemen, peasants, traders, etc., the market forces of the outsiders basically invaded the tribal areas and traditional life and disrupt their isolations of the hilly and areas, right now. So they engulfed in debt and lost land and to the outsiders. Then they are basically, their status was reduced and reduced to the labor sharecroppers tenants. Then the role of Christian missionary was basically the destroy the indigenous culture due to the proselytization happen. Apart from that, the colonialism also altered their traditional relation with the forestry. Then the conservation of forest, the facilities with the commercial exploitations of the forest is under the various forest laws. Then all of these result into the what several uprising like coal uprising, Munda, Santhal, etc. Then the post-independence, the bigger challenge was basically the consolidate of the tribes into Union of India. Then some specific related with the northeastern states, basically the culture and northeastern state are culturally and ethnically they are diverse, so that's why it changed the leads to change the demography. Geographical factor, the connectivity with the mainland of India, example chicken neck corridor. Then the 98% northeastern states share the international borders. Apart from that these two, the administration the administration's issues are also there. The administration's issues like lack of implementation of various central schemes or government schemes. Then the northeastern tribes are basically culturally and ethnically they are distinct, so they treated as homogeneous under the northeastern state. Then the violation of the APSPA, then high crime rate due to the golden triangle and misuse of the funds by the various government sectors or the employee. Then apart from that the religious role are also there, issues like the Christian missionary basically for the proselytization they established their own hospitals and schools which basically act as a tool of proselytization. Then apart from that and the historical background background basically the northeastern state governed by the Bengal and the fraternity at 1873. Now apart from that there are social and economically backward due to the backwardness increase. And what happened, the backwardness basically increase cause max population is tribe in northeastern state, right? Then the government efforts the constitutional provisions are there, apart from the legal provisions are there, and the government schemes are there. So in the constitutional provisions, first and foremost the definition, then the administrations, then the cultural provisions, and the monitoring agency, right now. So what happened, the article 366 and 342, these two are deal with the definition say. Then schedule 5th and 6th related with the administration say. Then cultural provisions is related with the article 29, and the monitoring agency is basically constituted by the article 338a. Now and what are basically the legal provisions, the PESA and FRCA, the FRA, the PESA, FRA, and the PESA, FRA, and POA. Okay, these three acts. Now apart from that government schemes, the tri-fed schemes are there, Vandan Yojana are there, Eklavya residential model schools are there. Apart from that mechanism for the market at MSP level. And then these are the basically the government schemes or the government efforts. Then the lacunas, if we see in a summary, the irrespective of the government's effort, the tribal progress has been dismal. Then the weak executions of the provisions and the policies, and apart from the ineffective of the state governments in administrations, we discuss the various lacunas in the next classes and the way forward. These two topics for the next classes. So thank you. Thanks a lot.